up? It's your girl, Sasha Banks, the legit boss. You are watching Going In Raw. You like that?
Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And, of course, taped live at Twitch, twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Survivor Series is coming Sunday. We're going to be watching it. We're going to be doing our live reactions to it once again on the YouTube. And then after that, we're going to be doing our recap of the show right here at the Twitch. So be sure to join us for that. Should be a lot of fun. We're coming up with some ideas for punishments. It's a big four. We do punishments around the big four. They're usually fun punishment. What was the last punishment we did, Larson? I forget now.
You had to do the Seth Rollins thing with your hair.
Oh, that still is in there.
At SummerSlam.
That's still in there. Yes. Yeah. So we'll figure out something to do. That should be a lot of fun. So check that out. And of course, as they telegraphed in the most obvious way this past Friday on SmackDown, Drew McIntyre went into tonight as challenger and he left as champion. He beat Randy Orton in what I thought was probably, Hell in a Cell one was pretty good. I thought this was actually a pretty stellar match. I mean, they gave it tons of time. I thought that it was headed for, given the Fiend and the Miz sort of lurking in the shadows, it might have been an overbooked mess. But they just let these two guys slug it out.
Which is smart, because they did a good job of building up the match. And by the end, especially they did a really good recap package during the course of the show that went back, like Drew's early days and Randy's early days in WWE.
Yeah.
So by the time the main event rolled around, it had big fight feel.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And both of them delivered. It was a really fun match. And they referenced their previous bouts a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Most noticeably when Drew reversed an RKO into a backslide, didn't give him the win this time.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, Claymore, bang, win. Drew, new champion. He faces Roman Reigns at Survivor Series.
The shot caller of SmackDown. Is that what they called him?
I didn't watch SmackDown this week.
No, they called him that on Raw tonight. They said he's going to be taking on the shot caller of SmackDown. Did I imagine that? I swear I heard commentary say that.
To be honest, I have to pay attention to commentary most times, so it's entirely possible I just didn't hear it.
Yeah, I pick up on the weirdest things because I do that. I picked up when Tom Phillips said, "God damn it."
Well, I think everybody heard that.
Yeah.
That was loud.
That was hard to miss. God damn it.
Oh, God damn it.
Because I think it's weird because I think you can say ish, but I don't think you're supposed to say God damn it. Like that in some circles, that's a heavier curse word than shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is interesting to me, So anyways,
that was clear as day.
Yeah, it really was. I was kind of shocked that it's. I'm sure it slipped out. By the way, that capped off our that main event.
Well, I guess the conversation then goes to how are they going to protect Drew's loss at Survivor Series? Because Roman's going to win that match, but it's not going to be a clean finish. Is it going to be Jey Uso interference? Are we going to see Randy Orton make another appearance? Is it going to be Bray Wyatt?
Is it basically this has all the makings for what I thought tonight could have been an overbooked mess?
They're saving that for Survivor Series.
You got they're saving instead of tonight. Yeah, totally. Yeah, you think that's going to be the case. I'm looking forward to, I in no way, I don't even know if I'd want to see a proper finish, but even in my heart, I kind of want these guys to remain unprotected. You know what I mean? I don't want to see Roman cleanly beat Drew. Although seeing Drew cleanly beat Roman, it'll never happen. But Roman has that kind of heat with me now, man. When I saw him, he was laying in. You missed SmackDown on Friday. Roman was laying into Jey. I've never seen Roman scream at a person before because there was a confrontation between Roman and Drew at the beginning, and Jey Uso comes down, clown status, gets in Drew's face, and is like, "We didn't invite you here. We didn't say you could be here." And Roman looks so put off. Backstage, he's screaming at Jey, and it was terrifying.
Wow.
So he's got that kind of heat where you just want to see the guy get beat up now. But I don't know. I mean, it's got to be a wonky finish. I just don't know how you do that and still have some semblance of satisfaction there.
Well, here's how you do it. You don't have to be the main event.
Yeah, there's that too, sure. Yeah, of course.
You don't have to be the main event. You have a wonk finish. It's not the lasting last moment of the show.
What's your main event then?
That's probably the Men's Survivor Series match, I guess.
It's sort of like the build tonight was kind of a whimper, and then is SmackDown's complement complete? Like, do they have 5 or is it still at 4?
You're the one that watched
I watched
SmackDown this week.
I
You
should
tell
know
me.
that. No idea. To be honest with you, no clue. I'm assuming they'll figure that out this Friday. I don't know.
The Art of Fracture in here says Miz cashes in, making a triple threat, eats a pin, but it's not for a title. The match isn't for a title.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
it's not title versus title. It's just champion versus champion.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to it. I kind of preferred this match over. Although Roman versus Orton could have been fun, I sort of preferred this. Like, it's weird. They did, Sean Ross Sapp mentioned this on Twitter, and I agreed with him. I mean, I half agreed with him because he was saying, why didn't they do the title change when Orton was at his hottest at SummerSlam? Why do they even do it this time around? And it has plans changed for just all over it. There is some plan that they had, and then they changed it, and I have no idea what it would have been.
Well, here's the thing too. By the conclusion of that kind of retrospective video package they had on Drew and Randy, they made it sound like this is it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Just the way that whole thing wrapped up.
Ooh, you froze up. Oh, there you go. You're good.
Yeah, it just made it the video package they ran tonight made it feel like this is it. This is the end for these guys. This is the end of their feud. So, I mean, I don't know if it is or not. We'd heard for the longest time they really want to do Orton versus Edge at Mania for the title, maybe. That could still be in the cards, but who knows? You know
what I'm leaning towards right now? So, who said this? Somebody in chat said, Sheamus, Jesse X Vega in here in our Twitch chat said Sheamus could come out and try to help Drew, but cost him. I don't think that would happen because Sheamus is already involved in a thing. What could happen, I could maybe see the Miz I could see Drew getting distracted and eating a pin. I don't see Roman eating a pin at all. I don't see that happening. Drew just ate one at Hell in a Cell. He can survive it. I mean, he has survived it. So I could see him being distracted and maybe eating a pin. Maybe. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's just go ahead and start from the beginning of Raw. The first 13 minutes featured a whole lot of talking, but not a lot being said.
Yeah, what was that all about?
I don't know, man.
I wrote down what was said, but basically, I mean, like, Drew goes on and on about what he's thankful for. We're still, 10 days away from Thanksgiving?
Yeah, right.
Talks about how Roman only cares about himself. He puts himself on a pedestal. Well, he's going to win tonight and then Claymore Roman off that pedestal and bring him back to earth and humble him. Orton shows up with a Tron, talks about spending more time at home suspended than some members of the have been on the roster.
In the ring. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Even that I don't think is true. Anyway, he says he's going to prove again he's the greatest wrestler. So Drew starts to leave after Orton wraps up. Miz and Morrison come down. They spend a lot of time talking about nothing.
Boy.
Other than just there's going to a change is coming.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it. But at the end of this change, this Miz is going to be champion.
What are the odds of that happening? What if Drew
Miz winning?
What if Drew does eat a pin from Roman due to shenanigans? You don't think? I don't know, man. Miz might cash in on that. He might cash in. Maybe that was the plan. Maybe that's the plan that changed. Well, I mean, all that set in motion. They had Miz take that briefcase off Otis. Miz comes down after literally the strongest guy on WWE's roster, Roman Reigns, handles him. Miz comes down. Boom.
I'm still pessimistic on the chances of Miz cashing in anytime soon because he and Morrison still aren't booked the strongest.
Morrison is booked as an absolute clown, which is a shame. I love Morrison. I think that he's so much fun in the ring. Well, it doesn't matter what he does. Every move he does is so much fun to watch. All right, before we continue, here's a word from the sponsor of today's show, forhims.com. Hey, Larson.
Yeah?
Is that hairline of yours moving backwards? Because 66% of men start losing their hair by the age of 35. But I'm here to tell you the best time to prevent even more hair loss is to do something right now while you still have some follicles on that dome of yours.
Well, Steve, thanks to the wonders of science, hair loss can be optional. It's time to write a new chapter, one where you have hair. Hims helps guys be the best version of themselves with FDA-approved products to treat hair loss.
Hims connects you with licensed medical professionals online. All you got to do is answer a few questions to see if FDA-approved hair loss treatments are right for you. If approved, products are shipped directly to your door. That means you can say goodbye to awkward in-person doctor's visits and long pharmacy lines.
Today, Hims is giving you their best offer yet. If you're not happy with your results after 90 days, Hims will give you a full refund. And right now, Going In Raw listeners can get their first visit absolutely free. Go to forhims.com/GIR. That's forhims.com/GIR.
Full refund of price paid available for first 90-day supply. Refund requests must be made between 90 and 180 days after product shipment delivered. Prescription products require an online consultation with a medical professional who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Remember, that's forhims.com/GIR. So after all that business, Lana is with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler at the gorilla position. That's what they call the curtain right there. And she has set up she's requested a 6-man tag match. She's going to team with Nia and Shayna so that she can prove to them that she belongs on Team Raw. She's got the bona fides, the credentials. Shayna and Nia not into that, but there you go. So the match is against Asuka, Mandy Rose, and Dana Brooke. Shayna doesn't want, they don't even want Lana in the match. But at one point, Shayna has Asuka like in a chokehold. Lana tags herself in. Shayna gets super pissed at that. But Lana comes in. Ref is like, hey, you got to break that hold. You're not legal anymore. So Lana comes in, gets like a knee strike or something to Asuka, goes for the pin, only gets 2. Asuka very quickly gets her in the Asuka lock. Lana's forced to tap out. Nia immediately, when the camera sees Nia next, she's already clearing off a table.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
So Shayna throws Lana down there, and Nia says, hey, you know what? You proved yourself. Congratulations. You're on Team Raw. She turns around to leave and then says, psych, and then picks up Lana on her shoulders, goes through the table with Lana.
That was pretty great.
Yeah, I know you like it if you text me and says, ha ha ha, Nia said psych.
Yeah, you just don't hear that very much anymore. That was like ubiquitous.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
in like my junior high years. Mm-hmm. Like people would set up situations just to say it.
Psych.
You just don't hear it very much anymore. Did you mention about Mandy Rose getting her arm stomped on against the ring steps?
Oh yeah, that happened. Yeah, and she was supposed to be on Team Raw, and that's not happening anymore.
Yeah, both her and Dana are off Team Raw. That happened later, be announced official later. And here they had an opportunity to maybe do something cool as replacements. Do something creative, outside the box.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember who it was. Someone asked us if the loser of the NXT Women's Title match on Wednesday might find their way on Team Raw, and I was like, maybe not. But when this started happening, I was like, oh, maybe they're going to do something cool and interesting and fun.
Oh no, it was just because I honestly don't. So what happened next? So Dana Brooke was getting interviewed. I'm sorry, that was there's like a Team Raw segment. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, where AJ is trying to pull the captain card. Everybody's he offers some shirts. Mm-hmm. He's got a tune-up match against Retribution. Nobody wants the shirts. Matt Riddle wants to give Jordan a nickname. AJ says, we're done. Don't even look at Jordan. And then AJ discovers that his associate can actually speak.
He said he thought that he didn't speak English. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, I do. And he was like,
you just didn't ask.
You didn't ask. Because Jordan's really good sort of straight face. And AJ is pretty good comedically. The segment worked. It makes zero sense. Like, how was there any communication in AJ hiring him?
It makes no sense.
We've seen Jordan before.
Talk to Shane.
Talk a lot to Shane. I mean, I know they think that we don't remember who he is, But it's not like the guy blends in. He's like 1,000,000 feet tall. He's very imposing.
You got that right. It didn't make any sense.
So Dana Brooke has an interview. She's attacked by Reckoning, a.k.a. Mia Yim. So later on, it's announced that Adam Pearce tells Shayna and Nia that they're out and Peyton Royce and Lacey Evans are in. Why? So, like, Dana Brooke, I kind of get. But Mandy Rose was in a really good spot. Is she just being brought down by Dana Brooke?
I don't know if you noticed, and I don't know if we haven't heard anything. I don't recall hearing anything confirmed. But last week during the match, Mandy took a spill outside the ring, and afterwards she was holding her arm where she had the rock tape on today. So I don't know if she is actually hurt.
Oh, that could be, huh?
And they were kind of writing her off tonight. I don't know. But she was obviously clutching her arm after taking that spill outside the ring last week.
Because you could be right there. When you think, who would you rather be right now? Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce, or Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose?
Dana and Mandy.
Yeah, not figuring if there is an injury, but
totally.
They're in a much better position.
Mandy and Dana were circling around the tag title picture.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So
Lacey and Peyton can't decide who wants to stand in front. That's their thing. They're like their whole gimmick is they barely can get along.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess personally speaking, having Peyton and Lacey on that team just really puts a massive spotlight on why'd you break up the Iconics. Just put Peyton Royce back in the tag team. Makes zero sense.
Yep. Hip Hop Hippo says, I don't know if this is true or not. Dana was wilding out at a packed indoor MMA event with no mask like 2 days ago, just yelling her brains out. Maybe WWE opted to take her out. If they wanted her in it, she'd be in it. if she's healthy in terms of, she can wrestle, she'd be in it. She wouldn't have been on. If that was the case, she wouldn't have been on Raw tonight.
Yeah.
If that was the thing.
Yeah. If there was concern about that.
So after that, we had Firefly Funhouse, where Bray is basically calling out The Miz because The Miz had said some pretty rude things about him, like called him a psychopath or whatever, in his promo tonight. And he said he wants to teach Miz a lesson, so he's going to have a match with him. Alexa was there with him. And he said he has all his friends to help him prepare. And there was like 3 little short bits that they did. Agility. Was the second one intelligence because he was doing spelling? Oh, it was just spelling. Oh, because he was doing a spelling bee. And then what was the third one? Was it focus?
I didn't catch the attention. I think it was attention.
Oh, attention. Okay. The first one was agility. He was doing some karate blindfolded with the puppets. There was a spelling contest where he had to spell jackass, and he spelled it M-I-Z. Mm-hmm. And then the last one was he had Ramblin' Rabbit on a dartboard, and he sort of did a no-look dart throw and hit him, and they all laughed at Rambling Rabbit. After that, we had the Hurt Business versus the New Day.
Oh, man, this is great.
This is a really great match. It was preceded by a bit of a laborious promo off. I feel like last week's was much better, or the week before, whenever it was. MVP says, this Sunday at Survivor Series, you're going to see best versus best. No one better than Hurt Business. Lash is going to beat up Sami Zayn. These two guys are going to get the tag title. Shelton said some stuff. New Day come out. They talk about the best versus the best, but you're not the best. It's not the Hurt Business. Kofi does a really lame sort of dad joke, calls him Jerk Business, which was funny because it wasn't funny, and MVP's reaction to it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that Kofi would do a Seinfeld reference.
The jerk store
is open, and they're out of you.
And they're out of you. But yeah, the match itself was absolutely fantastic.
Hell yeah, man.
It was great stuff.
Fantastic. So towards the end, Kofi tags himself in. After he does so, Wood super kicks Cedric. Kofi follows with a drop kick off the top. Shelton breaks up that pin attempt. Gives a devastating running knee to Xavier Wood, sends him out of the ring. Backdrops Kofi out, and then Cedric follows with 3 of the most
that first one was dangerous. Well, I'm not gonna say
suicide dives.
Yeah,
he was coming out of that ring like he shot out of a can the first 2 times. The third one, it looked like he's like a little bit out of gas.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
it came up a little bit short.
Yeah.
But those first 2, I don't think I've seen, short of like Ray Phoenix, I don't think I've ever seen anybody with that much momentum hitting a suicide dive. And I know Cedric, since he's turned heel, is like really up the aggression and intensity of his in-ring work. But man,
those were
that first one looked like he just flew right into the barricade.
I know.
First.
It was like they were meant to make a statement of some sort. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was really cool.
It was pretty cool. And so he hits the first two on Xavier Woods. Sorry, on Kofi Kingston, the third on Xavier Woods. Shelton tags himself in, drops Kofi with a clothesline, throws him in the ring post. Shelton hits an Olympic slam, gets a 2. Cedric gets tagged back in. He and Shelton hit an atomic drop kick combo. Cedric followed the brain buster on Woods. Oh, sorry, on Kofi. Woods breaks the pin. He goes for a lumbar check. Kofi escapes that. Super kicks Cedric. Sends Shelton out of the ring. And New Day hit Daybreak on Cedric to get the win, retain the titles. They'll be taking on Street Profits at Survivor Series.
Terrific stuff.
After
really that,
match.
we had another segment with Sheamus and Drew backstage, and Sheamus had a present for Drew. He references, I really love these things, and if this is the kind of depth we can expect from and chemistry we can expect from a feud with these two, I do hope you're right that Sheamus and Drew are going to have a thing after Survivor Series. So he has a present for Drew. He makes reference to having known Drew's family, his ma, and he gives them, there's like an old chest, and it's got some of Drew's, I'm assuming old gear and maybe family kilt, something. And then he's like, wow, this is really great. And Drew is doing such a great job, you know, soaking it all in. And then he turns around and Sheamus has a sword, and he's like, oh man, thanks so much. A really cool moment, you know.
Yeah.
It's a really great little character moment. I loved this. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And it's gonna
I thought it was really good too.
It's gonna make their feud even more, you know, something that might be kind of meaty, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. No, the stuff has the material to be a really kind of meaty feud based on just personal beef, and you know it goes back. You know, and hopefully they don't go into anything cheesy, because right now they're doing a pretty good job of setting things up and not straying into cheesy territory. So
it'd be nice if it wasn't just, you know, Sheamus celebrating with Drew and then Brogue kick or silly misunderstandings. You know, I hate when feuds happen over silly misunderstandings that could be easily fixed through some basic communication, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Give me something cooler than that, man.
I know, totally.
All right, before we continue, here's a word from the sponsor of today's show, Hawthorne. Hey, Larson.
Yeah.
With the holidays fast approaching, it's time to start thinking about holiday shopping. And whether you're treating yourself or shopping for someone else, finding the perfect gift is never easy.
But Hawthorne is making gift giving fun and easy this holiday season. Hawthorne is a premium tailored personal care brand that's making it easy for guys to feel and smell their best.
Yeah, first thing you do is go over to hawthorne.co and take a quiz where you can answer for yourself or whomever you're shopping for. It's really straightforward, and based on those answers, you'll either get some really cool personal care products for yourself or get to build personalized gifts for everyone on your shopping list.
Speaking of shopping for yourself, Hawthorne is a convenient way to get really high-quality products tailored for your specific needs. I got myself, Larson, some awesome mint-scented body wash that's really refreshing, and some soothing hand lotion that helps my hands from getting too dried out, especially during these cold, frigid winter months.
Yeah, I got some deodorant, some shampoo, and some hydrating face cleanser, all suited to my personal needs. And Hawthorne offers free shipping on your order and returns. And if you don't like your products, they'll even retailer them for you based on your feedback.
Get special offers for the holidays going on right now by visiting hawthorne.co. That's HAWTHORNE.co to check out their special holiday offers. Hawthorne.co. After that, we had a Retribution promo, which actually I missed the very beginning of because I was catching up on the beginning of the show. So I was listening to the first 13 minutes of many words said with not a whole lot behind it. So I missed the beginning part of when Ali first talked and then Reckoning. But I caught what Mustafa said to wrap things up.
Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, it was the same, thesis. You're everything we despise. You're all the same, spineless cowards. Reckoning had some words. I'm always a few steps ahead, and that's pretty much it. However, they did get the win. Up next was Team Raw versus Retribution. For our commercial cliffhanger, it was all Team Raw falling apart at the seams on the outside.
Yeah.
There is a great moment where Braun, I think, pushed AJ into Jordan, and Jordan sort of displaced AJ. He put him to the side, and he was about to throw with Braun. They had a great close-up on Jordan's face. Yeah. Larson, I don't know what this guy can do in the ring, but he's got
everything else.
He's got the presence. He's got that camera face that man. I was scared when they went to close-up.
Yeah, totally. The finish of this match was pretty fun. So like the Team Raw is like laying Retribution out. So Braun shoulder tackles T-bar and base ringside. Sheamus bro kicks the hell out of Slapjack. That was a heck of a sell by Shane Thorne. Lee hits a spine buster on Ali. Sheamus tags himself in, and while he's setting up for bro kick, Braun tags himself in, and so he puts Ali on his shoulder for power slam. Sheamus pulls Ali off, and then Braun shoves Sheamus out of the ring. Riddle then tags himself in. Braun pushes him over, and then Ali, as Riddle's getting up, pushes Riddle into Braun, which knocks Keith Lee off the apron, rolls up Riddle to get the win. It was a really fun finish. Like, Team Raw is just an absolute mess.
They're a mess. I still think they're going to sweep.
100% they're going to win. I don't know if they're going to sweep, but they're going to win. They're going to win.
Yeah, it did kind of bum me out, though. We saw a little bit of interaction between Keith Lee and Dijak. I didn't notice. I was kind of half paying attention at this point. They didn't acknowledge any hit. They didn't, did they? Okay. What a drag. What an absolute bummer.
So there's like meaty stuff there to work with.
You can totally do that. There's
a good story there to
do
tell.
That. Yeah, it's such a bummer that they don't consider NXT canon half the time.
And here's the thing: like, there's a good story there.
Yeah.
To work with, and it would do wonders for both guys. They'll get an opportunity to put on really good matches.
Keith Lee desperately needs a story. Retribution. I mean, make all these guys and Mia Yim, make them all individuals, part of the group, but individuals, so they all have their own stories.
And part of that, I feel they got to lose those masks, man. It's such a disservice to them.
I think that losing the masks, if they did it right from this point, losing the masks could be part of a story. You know what I mean? Totally. And not just, winner takes the mask off or whatever. It's like Keith Lee could be trying to appeal to Dijak. Hey, what happened to you? You're my best opponent, and look at you, you're just following this guy around. Take that mask off, and Dijak doesn't want to. You can turn that into a story.
And there's another thing about Retribution they need to work on is like their mannerisms when they walk out to the ring. I don't know. Given Ali's motivation for forming the group, it just doesn't seem to fit,
Yeah.
They're walking out there like, characters from a Mad Max movie.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't seem to fit given what their motivation is.
I had the same kind of feeling when Ali won with, the shady roll-up. And his reaction afterwards was chicken shit heel who got away with one. And there's a place for that. He could totally be that. He was calling out AJ a lot, and I hope that they're going to do a thing.
Yeah.
There's a place for that as a faction, but the way Retribution is presented isn't really that. And I do feel like they need to reconcile those two things. I agree with you completely. After that, we had Nikki Cross backstage asking if people had seen Alexa. And then they did some more Jeff Hardy and Elias. They're still rehashing this car crash stuff, dude.
I thought Jeff Hardy was actually really good in these two segments, though.
Yeah, I did.
Jeff Hardy was actually really good.
I agree.
Like, the premise is laughable.
It is.
It's completely laughable. I felt like Elias was about trying not to laugh through his whole segment in the locker room.
He had that face. He totally had that face.
But Jeff Hardy was selling it. He was in it 100%. So Nikki's backstage asking if people had seen Alexa Bliss. Sarah walks up to her for an interview. And she's like, well, that's not Lexi. I need to get her away from the Fiend no matter what. And then she walks over to Jeff Hardy, and he's pulling these flyers off from the inside of the arena, and he's looking at it. He's like, I know this is Elias did this. His Photoshop skills need work.
I thought they were pretty well designed, to be honest with you.
I know. And he says Elias is talking about wanting to get a big break Well, I'm about to give the big break he's been waiting for. We go to commercial, come back. Elias is in the locker room, like tuning his guitar or something. Jeff comes storming in, asking about the Flyers. Elias says he's just looking for some justice. And he's like, hey, Jeff, if you have anything to report, just let me know. And Hardy's like, I didn't do it. Elias, well, I know that you're the only one who knows what happened that night. And then Hardy grabs Elias by the beard, basically, rams him back into the wall of the locker room. And he's like, I've been proven innocent, but if you push me, I'll be guilty of a lot worse than hitting you with a car.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really well delivered. And the entire time I'm thinking to myself, I wish he could use his good delivery on like a decent story, because like, number one, this set up Hardy versus Sheamus months ago on a different brand in a bar fight that was resolved.
But here's the thing. I felt like Elias continuing on thinking that Jeff Hardy was responsible for hitting with the car, even though Jeff Hardy, by all accounts, has been exonerated for that particular crime. There's something there that could be fun, but it's never gone in a funny route.
Yeah.
Enough. It seems like this whole feud is just there to promote Elias's album.
Yeah, there's that too,
and that's the problem. It's like there's directions you can go with the basis of the story that could be fun and interesting, and there's not. I think tonight was the closest they've come to going down that path, where it's kind of weird. Like, why would Elias still think Jeff Hardy did it?
Yeah,
and he put the Flyers up. That's kind of funny.
I think more I appreciate, you appreciate the humor in it. He put up bad Photoshop Flyers.
And Hardy's performance was really good.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't like the story because I think they've kind of botched it from the get. But
it's like Joaquin Phoenix in The Joker. It's a terrible movie, but Joaquin Phoenix is great in it.
I got to appreciate some aspects of it,
Yeah. I'm going to get comments now on the Joker thing. After
that, we had The Miz versus Bray Wyatt. Before the match, Miz dropped a promo. It was like, hey, we don't have to fight. I'm sorry for what I said before. Let's consider it all water under the bridge. No good reason to have this match. Let's find a peaceful solution. In fact, let's team up. We could take out Drew and Orton. I get my wish. You get your wish. And let's work together to make dreams come true. Alexa comes out to the stage. Just says, he says no. This brings Nikki Cross out.
Hold on, you missed talking about Alexa's music, man.
Oh yeah, it was great. There's
rad.
This huge like bass, ominous bass going through it now. It's good.
Yeah.
They kind of took a little of the dubstep. It's still dubstep. Took a little bit out and made it a little more menacing. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And like the Tron, has her usual Tron, but it, kind of like falls apart. It's really good.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool.
So then Nikki comes out. Says Bray is bad for you. You got to leave. Alexa just attacks her. Then they're brawling. Pat Buck and Adam Pearce come out to break it up, and then Bray comes out. So the Firefly Funhouse music hits, and Alexa just stops fighting.
This entire thing was so well blocked and executed.
Oh, it was really good.
So well done. Yeah.
The direction during the actual match was really good too, especially the finish.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was. It totally
was really well done.
Yeah, Alexa, not to mention Alexa leaping onto Morrison's head and going over the barricade. I marked out so hard for that spot.
That was cool. That was really cool. So Alexa walks down in the ring with Bray Wyatt, and they cut to Miz and Morrison when all this is happening, and they can't believe it. This is the look on their face. It's part dumbfounded. It's part shock. It's part fear. Miz got himself to a world of hurt.
Yeah.
That being said, this is not Fiend Bray Wyatt. This is Bray Wyatt, Firefly Funhouse. Still pretty strong, not quite as leveled up as the Fiend. Miz got plenty of offense in. Morrison landed a couple cheap shots. Still not enough to defeat Bray Wyatt.
Bray, whenever Morrison would try and Bray would stare him down, that was legitimately awesome stuff. Like
there's that one time where Morrison cheap shots him, and then Bray sells it for a second, just give him like a death glare.
Yeah.
And then Alexa Bliss pops in to scare him, and he falls back over the ring steps. That was really good.
It was really good stuff, yeah.
You mentioned the bit where so Miz evades his sister Abigail. Wyatt follows with the huge clothesline, fun splash. Uranagi does a neck snap. He sets up for his sister Abigail. Morrison trips him up, or tries to, and then Bliss jumps off the ring steps and splashes Morrison over the barricade. They go toppling over it.
And I swear I didn't catch what she said, but she said something like leave him alone or something. Like she screamed something from off camera as she was doing it.
That's cool.
It was awesome. It was so cool. And then how she reemerged after the match was great too.
So Bray's kind of distracted by that. Miz hits that quarter clothesline he does where he kind of sits on the
I hate that
rope.
Move. It's so ugly. It's like the ugliest move.
And so he hits it and kind of sits there for a bit, and there's a good shot where it's profile on both of them, and Bray turns in to glare at Miz. Miz knows he's gonna lose. He's screwed. Bray hits Sister Abigail to get the win.
Well, it's awesome because he drags, like he just stares at Miz, grabs him, drags him to the middle, hits it, and that's 3. Miz can't do anything about it. He's a force of nature, Bray Wyatt.
Yep. So Bliss emerges from behind the barricade and then starts walking along the top of the barricade.
She it's shot so like the barricade's right here, and she comes up smiling, like laughing, and then she gets up on the barricade, and she's almost like dancing and walking along the barricade.
Yeah, balancing while she's doing it. So good.
Yeah.
And then Bray meets her at the foot of the ramp, takes her hand. They walk up to the stage, and then the Fiend red lights come on. He shows up on the Tron. They look at him. Lights go down.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really good stuff.
It was really good. After that, we had a Drew, Randall, Keith Orton recap that was really good. And then we had the confirmation that Mandy and Dana have been ruled out for Survivor Series.
Yeah, and Peyton Royce and Lacey Evans show up, and Peyton says, you guys want to strategize, and then they just sort of shoo them away. After that, we had an Asuka interview. What?
She just said she's excited to take on Sasha. That's it.
Oh, okay, yeah. After that, Orton, Charlie attempts to interview Randy Orton, and he basically just says, "Go away."
Yeah,
he says, "You're a distraction. I don't like distractions."
We had an Angel Garza promo.
This poor bastard, dude. They're overwriting this shit, and
it's not good.
His English is very good, but anybody's English, if it's their second language, trying to talk this kind of dialogue, my heart goes out to him. It's terrible.
It's the whole premise is terrible.
It's
terrible.
It is. It's so Art Fracture says it's the Continental. It's the Continental.
It is the Continental. It is Continental.
Hello.
Until waiting for him to say
Champagne.
Yeah. So pretty much he's saying all the women in the world are roses in the garden. He's the thorn protecting their beauty.
Yeah, dude.
It's not good material. He deserves way better.
For the guy. He really does.
I know. So then we get Nia and Shayna backstage. Nia's complaining to Shayna about stomping on Mandy's arm too hard. More or less saying, hey, Mandy and Dana, they could be useful at Survivor Series. Shayna kind of gives Nia some crap for putting Lana through a table for 2 months. And Nia kind of brushes that off. And Shayna's like, well, we don't really need anybody else on our team, so I don't care. And that's when Lacey and Peyton walk up, want to talk strategy. And then Nia turns to Shayna and says, this is your fault.
Yeah. After that, we had our main event, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. Drew comes out with his kilt and the sword. Total win face, total win entrance. Early on.
He put the sword into the stage and fire came out.
It's amazing. It's great.
It was basically a WrestleMania entrance.
Yeah, it really was. Randy tries to leave. That's when Scrap Iron comes out and says, no DQ. There's got to be a winner. No count out. Can't do it. So Randy takes advantage of that, attacks Drew with a chair. They go to the outside. Randy's dominating, puts Drew in the commentary table, some ground and pound. Drew misses a Claymore on the table. We go to commercial cliffhanger, but it's picture-in-picture, I think.
Yeah.
Randy goes through a table on the outside. That was a cool moment. Drew loads up a Claymore, eats a power slam instead. That was a really cool counter. Orton hits a draping DDT off the announce desk. Eventually on his, I think, 4th try or 3rd try. I think it was 4th try.
The commentary said 4, yeah.
Okay. Drew hits Claymore for 3. Really terrific match. Really good really stuff. Good. And then, did you notice the love tap to the asshole?
Yeah, I did see that.
Orton gave him the little tap to the butthole. Like
on two. Yeah.
Yeah. We saw Cameron Grimes do that, and everybody made a deal about it.
And there was like 3 minutes left in the show, and I was like, oh, is something else going to happen? But, it was just Drew celebrating, which is cool.
Yeah.
But, when there's a couple minutes left in the show, you wonder, is Miz going to run out? Try to cash in and then get Claymored.
Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and open the floor to questions. I believe I put up a Raw question thread on the Patreon.
All right.
Double check.
Blind Man V2 with sub. Thank you very much.
Ooh, there it is. Okay, good. Let's see here. Gregory Fiella. What is the over-under on Lana going through tables at this point? Say it's one. She might go through one at Survivor Series and then come back because she hasn't been eliminated.
Yeah. To win for Team Raw.
That's a possibility. In fact, it's probably a really strong possibility.
Yeah. Vermilion, I wish both Raw and SmackDown teams invaded each other's show like past years. Feels like neither team cares about the other team this year. We kind of, I think, heard that it's COVID related. They're trying to keep the brands as separate as can be. But I think in lieu of doing brand versus brand, like invasion type stuff, they're really focusing on the interpersonal dynamics between each member of the team. And I think on Raw, I actually kind of prefer that than just your invasion a week or two before the show, which is always a fun moment, but it's kind of paint by numbers at this point.
Won't make any sense right now because 4 out of the 5 people on Team Raw were on SmackDown. So I prefer that they're going with who's the best talent on each brand, the best versus the best. I think that's a smart way to go because they just had the draft. So at least they were smart enough to understand that wouldn't have made any sense. So I'm fine with it.
Totally. It's not really, for years and years, it's about brand supremacy, and that's not the tagline for Survivor Series this year. It's just best of the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's less about Raw versus SmackDown. It's just the best of each brand, taking on each other.
They should have used the old Karate Kid theme. You're the best around for the theme. Speaking of which, I watched the first 2 episodes of Cobra Kai this weekend.
Oh, how is it?
It's actually pretty good.
I heard really good things about it.
Yeah, it is. I'm actually kind of shocked. Like, what's the...
Well, the YouTube series, I didn't watch it, but it was supposedly really good.
I think it's the same thing, isn't it?
Oh, it is the same one?
I think they just brought it over to Netflix.
Oh, gotcha.
And maybe the additional seasons. Yeah, no, this goes straight... It's kind of clever. It starts off the final scene of Karate Kid 1, and they have the crane kick, and then Johnny falls, but the shot that they get of him falling, I don't know if they reshot it with like a body double or if it's other footage, if it's like coverage from the last one. But they do like a mirror shot of him laying in bed and he's got a beer next to him of Johnny because it's focusing on him mainly. But no, it's actually really good. Like Johnny's a pretty decent actor in his own right. Like you can see, he's not like the greatest, but he's pretty decent. And then what's his face? Ralph Macchio. You know, it's good stuff. It's comedy. It's good stuff.
You have to check that out. Turo says Roman is going to no-sell a Claymore kick. They're not going to bury Drew's finish.
They wouldn't do that. No, they're not gonna make him look a fool. No. David Matushik says, "Do you think last week's SmackDown could help Raw's ratings for this week only?" So one of Roman's best lines, man. It was so good. He's in there. He's talking to Drew. He says, "I don't watch Raw. No one watches Raw."
Oh, that was good. I read about that. That's really good.
It was really good. Will it help Raw's ratings? It's possible. I mean, I think when you have people showing up on different brands, generally it helps ratings. There was a title change tonight, title match tonight. It'll probably help. It's not going to push it over 2 million, but it might get 1.8 instead of like 1.6 or whatever.
Yeah. People are mentioning here in chat that apparently there may have been reports about Mandy potentially being hurt last week.
Okay, all right. Dog Authority figure. Vince decides he wants a sitcom about vampires living in Staten Island on the network and commissions you to cast it. Who are the vampires? Who is their familia? And who is the energy vampire? And is that Baron Corbin?
Yeah, Corbin is the energy vampire.
Oh, man. Roman looks like a vampire. He could be like a real stud vampire. Yeah.
Well, it'd be Roman, it'd be Damian Priest.
Yes, that's good.
Who
Damian Priest could be like the Nick Kroll vampire.
Oh, gosh. Wants that hat, huh?
And Regal could be like the Matt Berry vampire, but older.
What about Nadia? Who's Nadia?
Oh, who's got the best comedic timing? Bailey might actually have good comedic chops in terms of acting. That's a possibility.
What about who would be Guillermo then?
Guillermo. Oh, I love that show. Guillermo.
Pretty fun.
Guillermo is going to be, it'd be great. So it wouldn't be like the same type of character, but what if Jordan was their familiar?
Oh, that's good.
And they're all intimidated by their familiar. They don't want to make him a vampire because they know he'll become lead vampire.
Yeah, he'll be the most powerful vampire.
Oh, man. Let's see here. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Blake Whitehouse. This sounds like an Ask Steven Larson question, but we'll answer it anyways. You guys get $1 million, but for the next 2 years, all the food you eat has to be between 50 and 60 degrees. Do you do it or not?
So we have to eat cold food.
You
As
like
long as it's cooked, sure.
I mean, cold cuts. I can eat cold cuts. Yeah, $1 million.
If you tell me to eat a raw steak, I'm going to say no because that can make me sick. But if it's a steak that's been cooked and then put in the refrigerator overnight, and then you say, "Hey, eat this cold piece of steak," yeah, I'm fine with that.
I can eat cheese. Cheese is cold.
Yeah,
I eat a lot of stuff cold. How cold is if the milk in my fridge is really cold? I can have cereal.
Yeah. That's not too hard.
Yeah, that's easy.
Fear and Loathing. If Bray Fiend is a face now, what exactly is Nikki trying to save Alexa from? Is she the real heel and jealous of her newfound happiness? I kind of like this, where you have Bray, I guess, in WWE's mind, as a face, not exactly doing heelish things. I mean, he beat The Miz tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, though, you have Alexa, who is kind of heel.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good dynamic. I like it. It sort of falls in line with Cody's assertion that you don't have to be a heel or face. Just tell cool stories. And I love Bray's, I don't know if we mentioned it, but I love Bray's look, his menacing glance at Nikki. Like, don't mess this up. You're trying to mess this up right now. Yeah.
Jorge D. with Drew's amazing entrance tonight. What would each of your WrestleMania entrances be?
It'd be like Kenny's new cleaner entrance, but the girls would be far more lethargic. They'd be like all on the verge of taking a nap. Then it'd be like 50 of them.
Okay.
It would be like my entrance would be like the worst strip club.
Remember when Ray's entrance used to be that thing where he popped out from under the stage?
Yeah.
I want something like that, but something that flings me directly into the ring. Because the WrestleMania ramp is so long. I don't want to walk that.
Be like Super Dave, put you in a cannon.
There you go. Super Dave. Like Gonzo.
Yeah. Nemo, they added a laugh track to Drew's monologue. Do you think Raw would be more watchable with sitcom studio audience sound bites than normal fan sound bites they use currently? I mean, it'd certainly be funnier because laugh tracks make things funnier.
That's true. Night by Night, other than hurting people, what ventures would you like to join the hurt business in?
Mutual funds.
It's good.
They all dress really nice. I feel like they have money to invest.
Yeah.
Mutual funds.
Yeah.
Or AD says suit business.
Fear and Loathing, you have the ability to quantum leap for 24 hours anywhere in time. Pick a wrestling event you'd want to go to, and what would you do for the rest of the 24 hours?
I would Guillermo. I don't know if I would do something that would like try to affect the timeline, or if I would go back and just for a personal indulgence live in the year whatever, like 1983 or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Like
you were alive in 1983, but I get your point.
I was only 5. Couldn't really get around in a car if I wanted to go someplace. I know I'm old. I don't know, man. I don't know. Where would you go? What match would you see?
I don't know the timeline, but I'll say this: if this is for TV, I'll compress the timeline and make this 24-hour period. If we're talking quantum leap here.
Yeah,
I want to be there for the match between Kimura and Ricky Dozen. And I want to be there to see what leads to Ricky Dozen's death.
Would you try to prevent it? Would you prevent it?
That'd be quite a pickle to be in, you know? Like changing timelines to save someone's life.
That's a big deal, too. He's super famous.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's a massive deal.
That's a big deal. I don't know, man. You know what I'd do, man? I'd go back to 1970, probably 73, and go to Memorial Auditorium and hang out with my dad. I'd be like, hey, aren't you Steve Buell? Steve here, senior. And he'd be like, hey, how do you know me? I'm like, look at my face. I look kind of like you.
I'm just trying to do something. If WWE is faced with we don't want our strong champions to eat a pin dilemma, why don't they just make each champ the team's captains? Well, then you run the risk of having your strong champs pinned by somebody else.
Yeah, it's even worse because somebody has to win that match.
Yeah. At least in a 1-on-1 match, you can overbook it and find out that way.
Dan Barber, would Kofi have been seen as a more legitimate champion if he had also dropped the belt to Randy and gotten it back later? No, I think if he beat Roman Reigns in a really, really high-profile match, that would have done it. That would have done it.
Or if he had beaten Brock Lesnar.
If he had beaten Brock Lesnar, either of those two names kind of is where I draw the line in terms of you want to make a guy, you haven't beat Roman, you haven't beat Brock. I don't know. Where do you rate Kofi's title reign versus Daniel Bryan's that preceded it? There's always this weird like perception that you understand WWE either considers somebody a guy or they don't. And I always got the idea that for that moment, Daniel Bryan, it was like, wow. They put that title on him because they really saw, okay, we can do a lot of stuff with this. With Kofi, I don't know that I ever truly believed it, even though they did book him pretty strong.
They did, and they tried putting him in feuds for the most part that would serve to establish him as champion to a point. By to a point, I mean it was never against Roman or Brock. Because he feuded with Orton. Kevin Owens, I guess Dolph, but I don't know if Dolph really counts. As you know, he eats so many pins. I don't know if he's necessarily someone that would be used to legitimize someone as a champion. They had that not good tag match or a cage match too. And then like the match the next night or the next SmackDown was actually pretty good. So I think they really tried to establish Kofi as strong champion, but again, to a point, because in WWE's eyes, Roman and Brock exist on a completely different tier. Yeah. I feel like they're almost trying to get Drew to that same tier as well.
I agree. I think they're doing what they can, and I like that because I like Drew.
I do too. White Brownie, with NXT not being part of Survivor Series this year, is it possible they won't be a part of the Rumble as well? It depends how things are, you know, how pandemic stuff is going. If it continues to get bad through the winter, you know, I would kind of be surprised, but you never know. There could be a situation where whoever is going to be in the Rumble, they tell them, hey, just go quarantine for a couple weeks before the Rumble, you know?
Yeah. Alex Foster, Steve has joined the Undisputed Era, but Larson has joined Hurt Business. Who wins in your Survivor Series match?
Oh, Hurt Business does. Everybody in the Undisputed Era is so small.
They're small and they're really beat up right now.
Yeah.
Hurt Business's bottom guy is probably Shelton, although they try to say that Shelton is teaching Cedric. I don't know. Maybe they're on par. Yeah. Cedric has, you know, obviously much more of a future because he's way younger. Undisputed Era, their lowest guy is Bobby Fish, who really hasn't done a whole lot in NXT anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. Broken Wheelchair, why not put Mia Yim on the women's team to really push the conflicts between the wrestlers? I know. That would have been an interesting choice.
That could have been cool. I know. Again, yeah, something interesting. Church Jackson, isn't merely actually getting Lana over like this. I do like her performance lately. I think it's been genuine. I'm
All right,
a
we
fan
missed
of
this.
it.
Jorge D says Jey Uso is the Guillermo to Roman Reigns.
I mean, that's what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
That's a little on the nose right there. Guillermo.
Dang MQ, does Raw sweep Survivor Series? If Big E is part of Team SmackDown, I would think he would be the sole survivor. I don't think Team Raw is going to sweep the Survivor Series, but they'll win.
They're going to sweep.
I don't think they're going to sweep.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be the thing where, yeah, but dude, here's the thing. This is why I think they're going to sweep. Because if they don't all win together, they can't all celebrate together.
Here's what's going to happen. AJ is going to be like the first eliminated, and then they'll put it together.
He's going to be like the martyr. And they're going to... That's good. That's good.
That's what's going to happen. He'll be eliminated, and then they'll win. Matt Riddle might be eliminated, too. But Sheamus, Keith Lee and Braun are not being eliminated.
Right, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Sheamus might last till the end. But
Flat says Rollins is going to shoot stomp Riddle back to Evolve.
there you go. Maybe if Seth is like, I don't want to be in this match with Matt Riddle, and then someone's like, no, you have to be. He's like, all right, I want to eliminate him at least, you know?
Could be.
But AJ Styles will be, mark my words, AJ Styles will be the first member of Team Raw eliminated.
All right.
Mark my words.
I like it.
Or, hold on, they could do a situation where Riddle is like eliminated first, and they're all falling apart, and then AJ is eliminated, and then the three of them left find a way to put together to win. Something like that. AJ is going to be eliminated. Guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one who's kind of hapless in this entire thing, so I could see that being the case. That's a good point. EV says, does USA or Fox have a say who wins? I don't think they do, but at the same time, I think that WWE, I think that Vince keeps that in mind when booking this. He's not going to make anybody look foolish.
Yeah. Ryan Supernova, who would be your Team Raw? I mean, what they got is pretty close to it. I'd probably swap out Matt Riddle for somebody else. But you got Keith Lee, Braun on there. Man, AJ?
Team Raw is stacked from top to bottom.
It's a pretty dominant team, man.
It's a dominant team. It's a really good team. I mean, the only thing that could make it better, I mean, you couldn't do this because of the match is like either Orton or Drew. You know, then it's like nobody's getting eliminated.
Oh, Jeffrey Nerd says, does Larson have new lights? Indeed, I do. I have a new light right here. Thanks for noticing.
Looks nice. Looks good. Let's see here.
Day Zero, sorry. What if Randy takes out Sheamus Sunday and finds his way onto Team Raw? It make Team Raw even that much better.
Mm-hmm. Eddie Brock's Venom. Do you think WWE is mad that Ukes is working with AEW after 2K got rid of him?
Well, I mean, if 2K got rid of him, why would WWE be mad about it? You know?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think that that's all business stuff. Yeah. I mean, if AEW all of a sudden had a sim game that was better than 2K's, then I'm sure WWE would be like, hey, what are you doing over there? But that's not going to be the case. That AEW game is going to be a lot more like No Mercy, but with, 2018, 2017 graphics.
Yeah. Dabbing with Dan, tonight as a sandwich. This is what tonight as a sandwich is. It's a pretty good Philly cheesesteak, but you should have got the 8-inch, but you got the 12-inch instead.
Yeah, I was gonna like it. Remember that Simpsons episode where Homer has that like 10 feet long sandwich, and he just won't get rid of it, and it just ends up he like takes it out of the garbage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, Twitch chat, we will stick around, answer a couple more questions, but that's going to do it for us tonight. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. And until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, live power rank, vintage 10 for the wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.